We'll start, as we always do, with 8th Brigade of 3rd Division after he captured La Haye de Puits. At 1 o'clock, he's going forward and he's wanting to capture Jaurès, as he knew that that was a phase 2 objective, and I think because he hadn't really received any orders by the looks of things, that no real radio traffic, we'll have to go down and see how things were in 3rd Infantry Division and what was actually being said around this time. Okay, so on the 24th we've got here that in the turn before, soon to reach the town of Jaurès, no major enemy resistance encountered so far. After capturing Jaurès, what should I do next? No answer. Brigadier Creighton Lane on the beach. Apologies for the lack of communication, he says. Enemy forces encountered at Le Martiniere. I am confident of success of capturing the point. Now, I was with 9th Brigade at this point in time. My forces have encountered a large contingent of 21st Panzer Division to the west of Perrier and are currently engaged in 2 main locations. On the left, near the Tringale, the Scottish borderers and the Staffordshire Yeomanry have pushed back an assault by German armour with the help of attached AT guns. On the right, near Le Molinière, the Royal Ulster Rifles and Lincolnshire Regiment is at stalemate with German infantry. My orders are to continue as planned, with the 33rd FAE Battalion assisting my right flank. I have been in contact with 30 Corps Command, and they have tasked additional assets to assist my left. Now, this was me trying to order 85th Brigade to send his tanks in order to assist. Lieutenant General Buckner was also informed me that orders were given for the tanks of 185th Brigade to assist my left flank some time ago. I have not made contact with these forces and was wondering whether you, Creighton Lane, could give me an update as to how far away they are. They would greatly assist with the capture of Perrier and would free up elements of the Staffordshires to help break my right flank. I have no additional reserves to call upon to do so. I love how this player, who I was with, Chimpy, played. A lot of information, a lot of useful information there. My units are currently engaged in Le Martiniere and are moving towards Perrier. We will join you through the main road as soon as we can and smash the Jerrys back to Berlin. Estimated time of arrival is unconfirmed. Oh, anyway, going forward, so we know 8th is off map, doing his thing up near Jaurès, so he's just about here, I think. We've got 185th still sitting on the beach, enjoying his cups of tea, although he looks like he's moved north, taking a bit of a stroll. 3rd Division HQ still at Serenice, and luckily enough for us, 185th Brigade has finally moved, having been ordered to do so, and yeah, is in the region of Le Martiniere. Now, at this point, we thought that this was the Canadian 5th Fallschirmjäger Regiment's heavy company, so yeah, they probably got AT guns, a bit of maybe a few half tracks as well. But yeah, we're coming down the roads. We want to take Perrier for sure. But this is what we were up against here. Me and Chimpy in 9th Brigade as Bonikowski of the 22nd Panzer Regiment has come up from this position that he was up here and settled in his tanks, cut the road, and he's got some nice medium tanks. I think this is the artillery dice that was coming in and hammering him to kind of check his flanking movement. But yeah, we were in a little bit of a sticky situation. I think now looking at it, we do have more blocks, but yeah, they have a hell of a lot of tanks, and I think the umpire did say at the time, had more tanks been on the right flank and had the commander of 22nd Panzer actually used the blocks more efficiently in terms of combined arms, we would have been in a worse position, and we probably would have had to retreat back to Le Molinier. But yeah, this had me worried. This had me turning around to the guy in ninth and say, you know, we may have to smash the radios, and we may have to take the troops back into a more defensive position, and call for the Canadians. But yeah, so we were definitely up against it. This group down here, that's 7th Armoured Royal Engineers crossing at Blingard. Yeah, if we would have retreated, maybe we would have ran into them, but that's funny that they're moving down here. Over here we have some of 185th Infantry. They were hanging out at Eventard. Looks like they were ordered up to Le Martiniere as well, but they're going to have a tough time as both these bridges have been blown. Let's go down over to 7th Armoured at Maringhy, and would you look at that? Ah, I see what happens. They took guys from their right flank, decided that they wanted to try and go for a bit of a left hook, but turns out that the guys from 22nd Armoured were told to watch the south. We're going to have to go to maybe even Rommel himself, but maybe, what's this, 125th. Let's see what the 125th at this time was told. At 1 o'clock he's so, and we'll start at 12. Your 1st Battalion probes the south but can't find an undefended ford. They now have no force to defend their flank while they probe further. 1st Battalion is to hold as the rest of the regiment pushes towards Coutances. So he was trying to reach to Coutances. Interesting. The 2nd Battalion reports that they have found an undefended ford and is advancing towards Maringhy. Secure the ford and cross. Your troops are halted by British forces that seem to be rapidly deploying from the north, and they form a hastily defended, well, a hasty line, and just barely manages to stop your advance. Okay, press the assault. So yeah, I guess 22nd arrived just in the nick of time by the looks of things. Let's go find 22nd and what they were up to. We seem to have lucked out. So by 12 your troops go full out march, full out to reach Maringhy. You see several vehicles break down and troops frantically working on them. Your troops reach Maringhy within 20 minutes. Ah, okay, I want to set up a line of defence north of Maringhy. So he was interesting. Main line, medium tanks, light tanks, artillery. Tanks and artillery will respond to any enemy movement on the main line. Okay, by 12:30, the troops move into a modified version of your defensive line. Your units appear to occupy less frontage than you anticipated. And by 1 o'clock, okay, send all the tanks south below Meringi. Okay, so he's ordered them north and then he's hastily ordered them south. We're going to maybe have to check 7th Armoured HQ. Your orders get confused and muddled, and you realise to your horror that all of the battalion commanders moved south, but the decision appears to be vindicated as they encounter German mechanised battalion driving on the Ring. The troops are still skirmishing for now, but the mistake by your battalion commanders has quite possibly saved the division from being decapitated. A very bittersweet moment. Let's. I wonder what happened there. Let's have a look at the HQ here. Maybe even check the radio. Looks like 7th Armoured didn't really speak to one another all that much up here at Marine, and I can't make out, other than the misunderstood order by the umpire. I can't work out what happened. Why they were asked to look north and then go south. Something happened. But 7th Armoured's holding their own. I mean, I was a little bit confused and a little bit worried about them during the game. But you know, if you kind of look at the block's advantage, maybe we could have done a bit more to reach St. Lo. Looks like the main kind of push and force was with 22nd Panzer. But moving forward, you've got 9th Fallschirmjäger here that was defending Hyenville, has actually moved up to retake Coutances. Possibly unaware that people had captured it previously. And good old 69th looks like he's trying to advance on their position. But yeah, he's realised that this Coutances is a vital network with the whole plan going forward. I don't blame him for going back up there, but yeah, maybe a bit more pressure would have stopped that. But they are in Opel blitzes and half tracks, so maybe it wouldn't have worked. But yeah, 69th heading up to Coutances by the looks of things. And everyone else trying to do their best to spread out. Now, this is the leader of 50th Infantry Division. At this time, I was ordering the tanks to move to Montpinchon. He said he was near Avite, but he's not. He's back. He's back here. Yeah. Strange. But, I mean, you have an open road. I mean, I was worried that a defensive position would be around Montpinchon, but obviously I was wrong. And obviously I was worried about this southern flank. But, yeah, 50th doing its own thing and reporting what it wants, I think. Over here we've got the Grony taken, and 151st, oh no, 231st heading over to St. Denis and Hamby. Now let's have a look and see here. Now, because it was reported to me that the contact was over by Serenice, but it appears that it was just at Valpin, outside Gavray, as the 154th, pushing back a few companies here. So nothing much to worry about. And we've got an open road all the way to the objectives for 50th, which is nice. What's this back here? This is a load of 51st artillery by the looks of things. And they're starting to, yeah, exactly as I wanted. Dig in along this high ground. Maybe a bit more in the forest they could have done. And yeah, secure this southern flank. It's good job. However, another big gap has emerged, and 8th Fallschirmjäger trying to hold this river as best as he can. Poor him. Tough job for him. But that's pretty much all she wrote for 1 o'clock. And let's have a look and see at this moment in time how our lines were. Now we know we secured all this lot, and we've got someone going like that. So our lines stretched from here, following this river, back around here. Saint Salvel and Delin looks like it's been reoccupied, so we can't count on that. We'll take, yeah, we'll put up to La Ronde. No one has really been in this sector at all, but yeah, we'll do it by area of control. Up to St. Denis. All the way down here. And then over to here. Still not so bad of a breachhead, but as you can see, yeah, there's big holes. Yeah, we've got a big hole here. Not so much over here. We've got a big hole here. Gray's not so bad, but a big hole here. Although they are heading down. And a big hole here. A lot of holes. I mean, we could, yeah, and then we just kind of got this pocket around the ringy. And 7th Armoured, it's pretty much cut off, as its supply lines at Saint Salvel and Delin and Coutances have been cut. They were on their own. Not very good. Not the best. Not the greatest. Let's have a look and see what Rommel was thinking. Maybe even 3rd Fallschirmjäger. So, by about this time, we've got 1 o'clock. Here we go. The Allies must have Wunderwaffens of their own. Their tanks seem to fly over the river crossings and have assaulted my positions before we were able to begin to advance. I am engaged with tanks and mech infantry of the 22nd Dragoons and the 1st East Riding Yeomanry. Their assault on my position was so swift, the 2nd Company was overwhelmed in minutes and is no longer combat effective. I fear this will be my last communication, as I am severely outmatched and now outnumbered. Broken arrow. I request all offensive support assets to shell my position at grid 2373. So this is poor old 5th Fallschirmjäger as he sees our reinforcements coming to our aid. Yes, it seems the Allies were able to disembark a whole brigade's worth of armoured vehicles even faster than our own Panzer Division can move on roads. You've done your best against overwhelming odds. Save what you can from your force and retreat to Perrier. I'll request heavy artillery fire on your position. One of my last pioneer companies is at Saint-Salveur-Lendelin, but could not find any other friendly unit. I'm afraid 8th Company is lost. Oh dear. Arp, now he was actually previously in charge of 185th and then quit, and now he's back as a German. Please report the status of your regiment. I've got V1 rockets being launched. I've received no information yet on the enemy composition. From what I remember, they had tanks. Their infantry is mainly elite, but there was a severe lack of artillery. I have fully fortified Coutances and will await the 125th or the enemy. Can I perhaps get artillery support? From a strategic point of view, you must delay a stronger enemy trying to advance east. We have received reinforcement, but they are at Perrier and Saint-Lô. To try to give ground for time, concentrating your forces on the detected enemy path of advance. Your task, as well as the task of other regiments in the division, is daunting as we are fighting a much stronger enemy. I would say 3 to 1. That doesn't seem to be much affected by his lack of harbour to disembark heavy materials. Yeah, you're kind of right. Yeah. Okay, so Arp has now taken over 8th Fallschirmjäger. But of course Arp knows the enemy plan because he was in 3rd Division, so he knows exactly what we were trying to do, but he's being honourable about it, which is kind of nice. And they're just kind of trying to figure themselves out. Now let's have a look at 21st Panzer, see what they were saying to one another about the same time. I believe the troops I am about to engage are the troops that crossed La Foëlle. That front should stabilise soon if all goes well. Note that Schimpf finds the situation here to be grim. He believes we may be able to hold Perrier, but considers Saint-Salveur lost. Absent immediately differing orders, we will proceed to do what we can to hold Perrier while you reinforce Saint-Lô. And Tack, who's playing Rommel, I see no reason to hold Perrier and lose everything south. Your attack should buy him space to redeploy further to the southeast and shorten our lines. You should then attack south through Saint-Salveur-Lendelin and back around to 125th. I don't see how we get to Saint-Salveur-Lendelin. The enemy is approaching Perrier from the south along the road we would be taken to get there. The only viable path would be to backtrack to where there is a road that cuts southwest, about halfway between Perrier and Saint-Lô. We essentially have 2 options here: attack the enemy approaching Perrier from the south and hope to get Schimpf out with what men he has still intact, or we hold the enemy for as long as possible and get out and withdraw back to Saint-Lô. Given how close the enemy is to us now, the first option is likely the most viable option of the 2. In the meantime, you apparently have mechanized infantry heading your way via St. Giles. 125th is in contact with mechanized forces at St. Giles. Take the first option, break Schimpf out, and we will need to reconstitute a line. I would prefer you attack through the rear of these forces at St. Giles. We need to begin establishing some victories today, otherwise the Allies will think themselves invulnerable. I got stopped and pushed back by the Brits. Since the tanks are doing that flank attack, should it be best if I withdraw? I cannot push on without the panzers. And that's the southern defence. Okay, well, it's looking about just about what I thought, but yeah, I'm going to have to see what happens to these tanks from 50th and where they're going to go. We got a fairly strong position at Maringhi, but you know, as none of these generals are at the front to see what has gone on, they're blind. They're blind, 7th Armoured at the moment, and I don't think they're really talking to one another all that effectively. Otherwise they probably could have pushed an advantage. Let's have a look and see where the Canadians are. The Canadians are now off the beach and are heading northwards through Montmartin-sur-Mer, but of course the bridge is blown, so they're going to have a lot of trouble getting to where they need to go. Oh, my. Well, join us on the next one as we move forward. See you then. Ciao for now.